Thank you for listening to the audiobook recording of The Cure by MC Foley, narrated by MC Foley. This is being recorded in the same location in Los Angeles where I wrote the book. You may hear the sounds of life during the recording, giving you the same experience I had as I wrote. Episode 2. Chapter 3. That's nothing, Jimmy says, waving it off with a flick of his hand. Nothing? What are you talking about? The words fly out of my mouth with ease now, faster, louder. I swear, Jimmy, it felt, in the core of my being, it felt like you had something to do with it, he asks. I nod. He smiles. He's too amused, too unsurprised. Agatha, he says, she has a gift. My heart starts racing. Sweat sprouts all over my skin like a backward shower. I can feel my face turning cold, my nerves crimping. What the hell are you talking about, I say. I'm talking about transformation. I'm talking about you and me against the world. The sweat keeps flowing. Something scales its way up my throat. Why am I feeling this way? What has he gotten me into? I need to calm down. I need to calm down. I need to calm down. Now you sound like a crazy person, I say, my voice shaky, or a failed rapper. Jimmy grins. Sorry. Bad joke. Well, I am crazy, he says. So are you. We all are. But now you and I have a way to channel it, to make it work for us. I hate when people say the word crazy. It makes me feel crazy. Why did I say it first? Why is he calling us that? What in the hell has he gotten me into? Fuck, it's so amazing, Evan. You don't even know. Not yet, at least. Thank God for Agatha, he says, leaning back into the leather of the seats, closing his eyes and inhaling like he's climaxing off $5,000 head. Try it a different way next time, he continues. Maybe not so basic. Trust me, it's beyond fun. I like to get really wild with it, you know? Experiment. You start to see there's no limit to what you can do with your imagination. Imagination about what, I say, already knowing what he means. Already feeling in my gut that I know. I just don't know how, but I know. It was me. I did it. I crushed Wendy's legs. I did that with my thoughts. Not only that, a foreign sensation climbed inside me the moment I heard she was plowed down by a car. I know it. I feel it. Feel that pure, golden ecstasy. Ecstasy, because she got what she deserved. You're telling me, I say, sucking my voice into the level of a laryngitis rasp, that we can wish horrible things on people? This can't seriously be real, Jimmy. It just can't. My head is shaking no of its own accord. The saliva evaporates inside my mouth. What the hell are we talking about? What the hell am I thinking? Did I pass too close to that group of stoners outside the bar? Did they give me a goddamn contact high? You see that sloppy fuck over there by the window? Says Jimmy, pointing towards that far front corner of the bar. I glance over, my eyes making their way through the maze of people clutching glasses, pushing heat, pressing on with that charming chatter and those perfect low-eyed looks to land a crotch companion for the night. And then I see him. That scrawny guy wearing a crumpled sports coat, his forehead pressed against the window to hold itself up, his eyes glazed over, 8 empty glasses stacked next to his arm. He was there the night my friend Mark died, says Jimmy. You remember Mark. He had a thing for you, actually. Of course, he had a thing for most women. Mark. I say his name and pictures flash into my mind. Mark, that tall, soccer-playing, cage-fighting, heartbroken soul. That baby-faced boy trying to find what he'd lost in himself through his indulgences. That man-boy in his 30s acting like he was 18 again, trying to make up for a decade spent with the waste of a woman who took his youth and burned it to the ground. The bastard didn't call the ambulance until hours after Mark was already a corpse, says Jimmy, laying in his own vomit on the floor. I got sheriff friends at county, called him up to get the police report. I couldn't handle not knowing what happened that night. All of it, hour by hour, every single fucked up detail. I got halfway through reading that thing and I almost threw up, just thinking about Mark's last hours, cold, alone, shivering in that sour stench of stomach acid and spit-up booze. Was he wondering why no one even bothered to help him? Did he know that was it? The end? That it was all of it, his whole goddamn life, just gone. I started thinking things, sick things. Things like, I wish he was so out of his mind that he couldn't even realize what a shit mistake he'd made. What was it? I almost hesitate to ask, not wanting to set him off. What did he take? He snorted the worst type of shit. The type of shit he would never touch if he weren't drunk and high off his ass with the wrong goddamn people. I see the rage burning in Jimmy. He clenches his teeth, hard. Jawbones grinding down on each other to squeeze out the pain of the memory. Invisible daggers flying from his eyes into that scrawny guy's back, ripping it apart, tearing out his spine. I never knew I could be so creative, he says. Once I realized what I could do, and who I could do it to, I thought it over for a few weeks. I wanted to find the perfect thing. I kept thinking, what's really gonna hurt that little fuck? And then it hit me. All I had to do was figure out what he loved more than anything else in the world. He closes his eyes and inhales again, his face softening. The rage is still there, but it's joined by something else. That same sensation I'm feeling. Ecstasy. I knew he was a musician. Knew he'd come out here years ago from bumfuck Egypt just like all the rest of these freaks, sucking dicks and bending over for anything to be a star. What's he play? I ask. Nothing. He's a singer, says Jimmy. Club sluts would strip down and wet themselves to their knees every time that scrawny little fuck opened his mouth. He leans forward a bit, peering at the guy. Go take a good look at him. I follow Jimmy's lead and peer through the dim lighting of the bar at the guy. I can't make out anything unusual, so I stand and walk closer, leaning against one of the support beams halfway between him and us, peering between so many drunk shoulders and all that exposed, sweaty summertime skin. Usually I wouldn't be so blatant with my stare, but the guy is too far gone to even know his own name. At this distance, it's easier. At this distance, I see it. See the thing that must destroy an already broken man a little more with each passing day. He's a smoker, I say, the realization making me sick, making me shiver. Is that fear? Am I afraid of Jimmy? Yes, maybe I am afraid, but not of Jimmy. Because upon seeing it, that thing, that permanent, penetrating thing, I understand immediately in my gut how it happened, how it came to be there, how he got that hole in his throat. Smoker, says Jimmy, who is behind me now, his hands on my arms, his chest pressed against my back. Not really. Maybe he sucked on a few each day, if that, just the skinny, pussy-type girl cigarettes. He snorts, shakes, his fingers press into my skin. What the? Is he seriously laughing? Funny thing is, he says, there that little failed superstar goes, walking around with that cock blocker of a hole. And I still catch him smoking. His observation cracks him up. He wraps his arms around me now, laughing so hard tears stream from his eyes. I can feel their wetness, can feel the bursts of his laughter as he tries to hold it in and presses his face into my neck. You wished this? I say. Fuck yes, I did. Jimmy breathes, his hand sliding south, west, sloping, clutching, curling under the fabric of my shirt to find my breast, to roll his fingers around it in soft circles and then clutch it as hard as he did the last time we had sex. Oh man, that was the perfect fix. Don't you think? Stop! I pull at his hand, trying to yank it off of me. He fights me, gathers me in like a black hole sucking in space. His face is in my hair now, nuzzling and roaming, inhaling so deep that his breath clouds out the white noise of the crowd in the bar, some of whom watch us now, some of whom brush their own crotches with hands that hold drinks they drag up and suck down as they keep on enjoying the show. Jimmy! I try again. He doesn't care. His other hand is searching between my legs now, and I'm embarrassed and I'm wet, and yet I can't stop my eyes from tracing the gaping open wound in the guy's throat. They just went in there, Jimmy whispers, his breath all over me now, and snip. Who knows how long that surgery was? 30 minutes, maybe an hour? I don't really give a shit. I just know that's all it took. I can smell his whiskey winding its way along my skin, can feel his fingers pressing the seam of my jeans into my slit, can feel a beautiful darkness pushing out from his body and swelling into me, taking me, owning me. That's all it took. They cut his voice box out and threw that shit in the garbage, Jimmy whispers, his words almost a moan. Along with all the rest of his dreams. My God, I think. This is the sort of damage he can do. I can do. What's his name? I whisper. The question is not a sad or sympathetic one. It's a curious one to finish the story, to put a title on this one revenge, a title like Wendy. Like all the other names, I begin to line up and add to my own plate. Why do you care? Says Jimmy. He's pulling me away from the beam, dragging me to the back exit, to the apartment where he doesn't want to be lonely tonight. I don't. My voice is hoarse. It's not laryngitis this time. His eyes narrow. He smiles. Jacob. Chapter 4. Sometimes innocence is not as useful as effectively feigning innocence is, especially when you feel like you have blood on your hands. I admit it to myself. This is how I feel. This is how I feel when I see the email to staff describing Wendy's tragic accident. This is how I feel when I see the request for any donations to send her flowers and gifts and a bunch of other things she can buy for her own damn self. This is me pushing that guilt away the moment I read that goddamn insult. This is my hands responding to the email, writing a message I will never send that says, ask Wendy if she gave a fuck when she fired Max right after his wife miscarried. The mail cart rolls by, on the dot at 11:30. He doesn't say anything to me this time. He hasn't even looked at me since our last exchange. Pity. I just lost my hookup to send free packages. Oh well, I was sick of him screwing me with his eyes every time I walked past, sick of feeling his virtual dick on my ass every time he got behind me in the hall. Still giving you trouble? Carl, the new IT consultant, the one who looks like he should be strapped in underwear, doused in oil, and spread across the wall of an Abercrombie & Fitch instead of toiling away in some windowless tech room, leans against the wall of my cubicle. Here he is again, doing it again, teasing me. He's just close enough that I can smell the hint of some pheromone-sparking cologne. Strange. I rarely meet guys with so many tattoos who wear that kind of cologne. It's more of a high-powered businessman scent. Yeah, I say. The stupid thing keeps freezing. I think you have too many windows open, he says. Let me see. He leans over, brushes my shoulder with his, and something ripples across my skin. Oh no, this is not good. This is me feeling a tingle in my crotch almost immediately. This is me glancing at his arm as he moves the mouse around on my desk. Look at the girth on that bicep. The arms are the first hint of the rest of the body, and that hint says he is sliced up and solid and capable of lifting another person's body up and holding it against the wall while he penetrates. No, Evan, I try to tell myself. Don't shit where you work. Don't shit where you work. Don't shit where you work. I know. Actually, he says, it's something else. I'll have to go deeper into your files. Go deeper? I say. Please do. He doesn't turn, doesn't look straight at me, but he smiles. I see it, along with the low-eyed sideways glance he gives me. So, what do you do when you're not chained to your desk? He says, lowering his voice to a husky growl. Like after 6? I'm usually out and about, I say. There's crazy good bars and lounges in this area. Oh yeah? What's your spot? I'm about to say the Hawthorne, but I stop. Not Jimmy's spot. Don't be that stupid. Pick another one. Concubine. Love that place, he says. Love all the red lanterns. We should grab a drink there sometime. He's still staring at the computer screen and moving the mouse around as if he's trying to solve the problem. I'm still aiming my face towards the screen, keeping his arms in my peripheral vision and playing the mind video on loop of him fucking me against my apartment wall. Sounds good. Let me know. Tomorrow, he says. He lets go of the mouse, faces me straight on, and slides his hand along my back, down to my waist, his fingers coasting just above my ass before he walks away. I'll have to work on this remotely to figure out the problem. He's speaking at normal volume now. I'll let you know what I find when I get back from lunch. Thanks, I say, closing my eyes and inhaling the last whiff of that cologne as the imaginary naked body slamming up against the wall scenario keeps looping in my mind. This is crazy. What am I, in heat? A message with no subject pops up on my screen. Still can't believe how weird that was, Carrie's email says. Of course I know what she's talking about. Wendy. Wendy, the poor wounded whiner who got what she deserved. Imagine if that happened every time you wished for something. All the pedophiles in prison would get an aggressive skin-eating disease on their cocks, I think, and half of the 15th floor medieval rulers would get colorectal cancer. Oh, wait. If this all happened because I wished it, then why weren't Wendy and Tom impaled? Didn't I wish that too? Ah, the realization hits me. But I didn't say the impaling thing out loud. Yeah, I replied to Carrie. What a trip. I don't want to expand. Don't want to give her the slightest hint that I suspect it was really me. Not that she would ever jump to that conclusion. Why would she? This is all too crazy. It doesn't make any sense. Jimmy's messing with me, isn't he? No. Something's happening. Something's changing. He's changing. Last night's session of Jimmy's bed beside the mirror under a layer of body oil and screaming slides into my thoughts the same way he slid into me 3 back-to-back times before the clock struck 2 a.m. This time was different. This time was not that same sloppy shit we made a mistake. This time was something so primal, his hands shoving me against the refrigerator over and over until the bottles barreled into and burst the cream off their heads on each other inside. He was not the mediocre mess of never giving me enjoyable sex that he'd been on our few mistakes before. He was something raging inside, something hungry and straining as he threw me on the bed and split my legs apart in a flat line like I was a hardback book with 2 covers curved around to almost touch each other, holding me down by both arms and pushing it, all of that length that seems so much longer and thicker now, pushing it, pounding it, promising screaming from me that he'd never heard, that I'd never screamed before. Shit, God, fuck me, oh my God, shit, Jimmy, Jimmy, Jimmy. I play those visuals on repeat for a few hours. It's taking everything I have not to rub one out, and I'm not getting any work done. Who cares? Screw them. They screw us all day, every day. I'm wet again and burning up. Now it's Jimmy I can't get out of my mind. Can't stop obsessing about the sex. What's happening to me? I feel like an animal. I need to walk away, get outside, get some air. I take the elevator down, walk out of the building, and go. I just go. Go anywhere. Go to keep myself moving. I still don't know if I believe this. Maybe I need to do a test. Yes, that's it. A test. I need to make another wish. But a wish for what? Do I get everything I wish for? I wish there were $1 million more in my bank account, I say to the air. I wish Mark was still alive. I wish my friends and family and I would never get old and never die. I wait. I walk. I take in the summer sunshine. I watch the cars riding up on each other's asses, watch the drivers holding their cell phones low to hide them as they text, watch a group of high school kids shout and chase each other on skateboards down the street. An hour passes. I pull up my bank account on my iPhone. There's no $1 million. Of course there isn't, you idiot. I walk further, a little slower, every detail around me popping out in sharp detail. I can smell things I've never smelled before, can hear people talking in buildings 7 floors above the ground. I pass a telephone pole with a flyer stapled to it. I've seen these badly sketched flyers on every street for months, seen them do nothing. How could they? The drawing is so generic, it looks like a cartoon. Warning, it shouts in bold black letters. A man fitting this sketch and description has sexually assaulted 6 women in this neighborhood. The suspect follows women into stairwells and assaults them at gunpoint. If you have any information, please call this number. I wish that son of a bitch would get arrested, gang raped, and imprisoned by the murderers with the biggest dicks, then hang himself till he's dead, I say out loud. Take it away, that dark mist thought breathes softly through my skull. That's it. That's exactly what happened last time. My God. I turn on my heels and rush back towards the office. The sun beats on me a little as I speed up, sending a film of sweat across my face. It takes me 40 minutes to get back. I rush inside, digging my nails into my palms as I squeeze tight fists, waiting for the damn elevator to get me to my floor. The doors slide apart and I fly through them, barely missing a collision with one of the medieval rulers and making my way to my desk. I pull up Google News and scroll through every news story. Nothing. I do an internet search. Still nothing. Time creaks by. Emails pop into my box, requesting things, asking for work. Carrie sends another one. Coffee break? She says. Can't, I reply. I am not going to leave my desk. I'm going to stand here and keep checking until it's time for me to leave. How long did it take last time? Was it 2 hours? 3? 3. It was 3. I remember this when 3 hours pass and I see it. See the breaking news that the bastard, the one the news anchors hyped with that catchy club name, Stairwell Rapist, chased the wrong woman into the wrong stairwell and found himself face down and bound instead of ejaculating his dick. That undercover cop and her hidden crew took him out faster than he'd finished any of his own attacks. Video coverage starts popping up all over my screen. Carl Young, 36, a Sherman Oaks resident with a history of arrest for voyeurism, public nudity, and sexual assault, worked as an IT consultant at various companies in the Hollywood, Burbank, and Culver City areas of Los Angeles County. Authorities have not confirmed the planned-out nature of his attacks. However, considering Young's daily work schedule and location, it appears he assaulted women on his lunch breaks. One of his alleged victims, a 19-year-old Santa Monica College student, was paralyzed from the neck down after being sexually assaulted and thrown down parking garage stairs at Universal Studios. More on this as the story develops. What? No. My God. Oh my God. It was Carl? Carl? Yes. IT consultant Carl, looping naked in my brain, brushing my skin with his fingers like he wanted to brush those fingers between my legs and sink them deep inside me, wet and warm to get me ready, Carl. Tattooed all over his body and let's get a fucking drink tomorrow, Carl. He's going to get back-to-back ass raped in prison, I think. They're going to tear him open from his rectum to his spleen, and then he's going to hang himself. Because he is. Because I know. Because this thing, this whatever it is that Jimmy sent me up to the bird streets to get infected with, it's real. This concludes the audiobook recording of episode 2 of The Cure by MC Foley. Thank you for listening, and once again, The Cure is available in 3 different covers in paperback and Kindle on Amazon, as well as Smashwords, and it has a Facebook fan page at facebook.com/The Cure Book Series. And again, I can be contacted at facebook.com/MC Foley Writer. Thanks again for listening.